Hey guys, welcome to this video on my channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing CVT transmissions, their benefits, their downfalls, how you can make them last really long, and all that. So before we do that, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm so that this video gets out to more people. And also subscribe to my channel if you want to see any more car videos or outdoor related products, and enjoy the video. Alright, so first off, I wanted to discuss a little bit about what the CVT transmission is versus like a regular automatic transmission. So a CVT transmission is continuously variable, which means that it's actually on like two pulleys that are similar to like snowmobile clutch. So basically the pulleys expand and contract depending on how far you want the position belt. The belt position. So if you want more torque on the one pulley, you know, it'll shift that over, and that's part of the problem with these, is that they don't have specific set gears. So in a regular automatic transmission, you have, like, say a 6-speed transmission, you have like 6 different gears, so you can actually switch the gears and it'll switch into those gears. So it's sort of like a snowmobile versus like a bicycle with like gears, you know, like the 3-speed on the left, and then the little gears on the right side, right handlebars. And so it's similar to the difference between those. And what happens is eventually the CVT transmission starts to slip, whether or not the belt is starting to go out or other things. And there are different causes that cause it to go out faster, and so I'm going to be discussing those as well. So now I'm going to get into a little bit of the what makes the CVT transmissions last longer. I know someone that has 450,000 miles on their 2010 Subaru Outback with the original CVT transmission. So they can last. The typical range for CVT transmissions, I think they typically go out around 100,000 miles, which is really short comparatively. So the problem is, this day and age, cars are going to more CVT transmissions. You see Toyota switching over to CVT transmissions, Hyundai, Nissan, Subaru, several other companies going to CVT transmissions. Why are they doing this if they go out so early? I have a 2003 Subaru Outback with a regular automatic transmission that has 354,000 miles on the original transmission. So why are they switching over to these CVT transmissions? Well, primarily for rider comfort. So a lot of people, the benefit to CVT transmissions is they're continuously variable, so you're not going to have the switch over in gears. So it'll be smooth transition accelerating. Also, because of that, you get better gas mileage. So all-wheel drive Subarus are seeing 33 miles to the gallon, whereas the original automatic transmission would get the Subarus maybe 28 to 29 miles per gallon highway. So, and I believe the city driving is a little bit better gas mileage as well, because you don't have that switch over in gears all the time. So now I'm gonna get into what you can do to make your CVT transmission last the longest, because we all know that eventually all cars are pretty much going to be having CVT transmissions, and hopefully they can work out the problems and make them last longer than they currently are. Alright, so the first thing and the best thing you can do for your CVT transmission on your car is to limit your city driving. So, you know, if you have a 5-minute commute, 5-mile commute, something like that to work, and it's like in the city or something, if you have a car with a manual transmission or a regular automatic transmission, you might want to take that vehicle to work every day as your daily driver, because it's making the transmission work harder. Whoever has driven a manual transmission knows that the transmission works a lot harder in the city versus highway driving, because you have to switch gears all the time in the city, going to a stoplight, just, you know, it's always, the speed is always changing, and so you're always switching gears. And regular automatic transmissions and CVT transmissions also do that. So try to limit your city driving. Highway driving is a lot better for it, so that's part of this person that has 450,000 miles on their CVT transmission. They've mostly done highway driving. So it's mostly long trips in one gear for, quote, gear for a longer period of time. And same with my Subaru here. It has 200,000 miles on it, original CVT transmission, but I just bought it a few months ago, but the previous owner did mostly highway driving with it, which cuts down like 90% of the wear of your CVT transmission. Also, I want to talk about next thing to do is to make sure you change your transmission fluid often. So Subaru of America, dealerships, other places will tell you, oh, it's a closed system in a CVT transmission. You never change the fluid, it's lifetime fluid. Well, it might be lifetime for 80,000 miles or 100,000 miles, but I would change the fluid. Now, if that's gonna go against your warranty for your car or your transmission or whatever, then I would wait until the warranty period is over and then change the CVT transmission fluid. Now, there are also contradicting reviews and whatnot online regarding if you should ever replace your CVT transmission fluid, and I really want to address that in this video so that it's clear and why people are saying that. So it turns out it isn't just CVT transmissions that are doing this. Regular automatic transmissions, people are wondering if they should replace it or not, and part of it comes down to the amount of time before you replace it. So if it goes 200,000 miles, 250,000 miles without the transmission fluid being replaced, then potentially metal particles and debris gets in that transmission fluid, and then it's pretty much only a matter of time before your transmission fails. And so, but changing that fluid, somehow those metal particles are good for the transmission to last just a little bit longer, but it's a downward cycle because you have bad fluid which is contaminated, and and then that fluid starts to break down the rest of the transmission, and it's just a downward cycle. So, but that's the reason why a lot of people advise not to change your transmission fluid. So I personally suggest changing your CVT transmission fluid about every 60,000 miles, or even less. It depends. Some people even say 20,000 miles. But CVT transmission fluid isn't cheap. It's about $150 for a drain and fill twice, which just for the fluid, which I advise doing a drain and fill twice, depending on how often you change the transmission fluid. I also have a video I'll link in the description, and maybe throw a link up here in the video to that's how to replace your CVT transmission fluid. It's actually a quite tedious project because it is sort of a closed system. They have bolts and they have, ways to fairly easily get into it, but it's a fairly tedious process. You can watch my video and see how it's done, see if you're comfortable with doing it, because the dealer charges somewhere around $400 or $500 for a CVT transmission fluid flush. So it really depends on kind of if you're comfortable with doing it yourself, but $400 or $500 is better than paying $7,000 for a new transmission, for example. So I would keep up with the maintenance, and no matter what other people tell you to do, I would have that fluid replaced, because especially if it's replaced by a reputable dealer, or somewhere that you trust and they know CVT transmissions, there shouldn't be a problem with replacing the CVT transmission fluid, and that's probably going to save you a lot of headache in the future. I believe this was probably original transmission fluid in this Subaru Outback here, this 2010, and it was pretty dark. So I definitely recommend replacing the transmission fluid every once in a while, and probably every 60,000 miles, but again, it depends. Another big tip for you guys to making your CVT transmission last the longest is not only just avoiding city driving, but if you have to do city driving, or if you just in general as a habit for driving, don't floor the thing. Don't gas it real hard, because that really wears on the transmission, and once the CVT transmission starts to slip, it's pretty much gonna go out really soon, completely. So a general rule of thumb is like 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. Stay below that in your acceleration, and that way, obviously if you're like in an emergency situation where someone's gonna hit you if you don't accelerate, or something of that nature, step on the gas. But for the most part, like when you're in city driving, just kind of, ease on the gas pedal, so it doesn't work the transmission too hard. And really, that's another really good way to make your transmission last longer. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. All I have for you guys. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and let me know if you have any more questions about CVT transmissions, what your thoughts are, and anything like that in the comments below. and I'll be happy to respond to those. So thanks guys.